Hi. So, by the miracle of exuberant joy, you found this channel and you've watched some content that you really like. Don't you think by now it's time for you to hit that join button? If you hit that join button, you guys get added perks of getting my videos early. Also, I'm going to start making added content for you guys as well. If you go to my Patreon page and join there, as I have two Patreons that I already have, you guys will get exclusive content that I'm going to start making the beginning of this month for just over there. All right? So don't forget, join the channel here and become a Patreon over there if you'd like, or one or the other, whichever one. Either way, thanks. Have a good day. Okay, guys, how you guys doing? There's a slight change in the video. I was going to do a two-part session, but it's entirely too long. I'm going to make it 4 parts. It's going to be the actual installing a MariaDB, which is this video. Then it's going to be the Apache web server installation, and then the NextCloud install on this series of videos. We're going to make it into a full-fledged large series. I thought I was going to be able to do it in 2, but I can't, so sorry about that. But either way, guys, continue watching the series. It's going to be great. You're going to be able to get your NextCloud set up and do what you need to do. Stay tuned for parts 3 and 4. Now, let's go ahead and watch part 2. So, part 1, we installed Ubuntu server on a virtual machine. And the purpose of it was to install a NextCloud cloud server for your home network there, so that you could store your stuff locally and have it a little bit more secure. We installed that server, and we installed a desktop environment to make it easier for those who are not super into the command line, and make it a little easier to copy and paste some of these lengthier command line commands to install the NextCloud server. So that being said, let's go ahead and dive into installing NextCloud. The vlog post will be in the description where I got it from, which is over at learnlinux.tv's blog post. And so we're just going to follow his thing, and we're going to see if we can get this installed. Okay, and here we are right now. Now, we don't need to worry too much about installing a user on the server, because when we set it up, we created one. And in this one, it's going to be Alex, and the user password is the strong and super secret password that I gave it. So when you set up your Ubuntu server, if you followed along the other video that I did, then you would have set up your user as well. So now what we're going to do is we are going to open up a terminal, and we're going to do the simple update, and make sure we've got the latest and greatest of whatever it is that we need, that we may need here, and that everything is going to be running fine. So we're just going to run the command line of the sudo apt update, and we can also give it the and upgrade command and see if it'll take care of anything. It shouldn't. I don't think. I can't remember if I updated or not, but we'll find out. And right now it's downloading whatever it needs to. Run app list upgradable to see them. Okay, so there's, I don't think there was anything to do. So let's just type in sudo, why don't we just do sudo apt upgrade and see what it does. Yeah, there we go. And so while it's doing that, I'll go ahead and pause the video. When it's all done, then I'll resume it again. Okay, now it has upgraded, and as part of the upgrade, it stopped services. So now it's going to ask to restart services again. I am going to let it be just whatever the standard services it was that it's got here highlighted in this box to be whatever it is. And I'm just going to hit OK. And it should finish up and be done. Okay, as you can see, it has completely finished what it's doing. So that is all done. So now we're going to go ahead and clear the terminal. Dang, I cannot type today. Okay, and so now we need to update host names and hosts. So the host name, as you can see, is going to be Alex Home Cloud, which we already set here. But let's just go ahead and do the, I didn't mean to highlight the whole thing. Let's just go ahead and do it just to stay uniform and make sure that everything is right. And yes, it is. It's Alex Home Cloud is what the name of the host is. Okay. So this is Nano. So if you want to change it to whatever you want, you're obviously not going to name your host name to be mine. You can make it whatever you want, you know, Tadpole Cloud, who cares? At any instance, you would type it in here, you know, by simply, you know, using your arrows, and then you can backspace to delete whatever you want to do. And then once you're done, all you hit is Control. What? You hit hang on one second. You hit Control 0 and hit Enter. That writes it, and then Control X closes out of the Nano. So I don't know what that problem was. I'm not too worried about it because, like I said, I'm gonna delete this. And any for the record, if you see any IP addresses in here, I understand that they're visible, and I understand that, you know, people could do things to me with it. But the thing is this is a virtual machine. By the time these videos are done and I'm posted them, this virtual machine will be gone and down. So don't worry about it. There's not going to be an access to it, and so they'll be gone, and there'll be a whole new other, you know, virtual machine. This is definitely not an actual server main box attached to my main internet. Okay, so now we're going to edit the hosts. That was a host name file. Now we're going to actually edit the hosts. So we're going to type the same command in, only instead of host name, it's going to be hosts. And so here we have it already set up, where you have localhost and you have home cloud. Now, home cloud this is a loopback. So if I were to type in home cloud, you know, in the address, that will actually call back to this computer as localhost, and it will let me in, and it'll want to serve up whatever we have in our server. So that's, you know, that's our public DNS that you could type in to get logged in here. Now, it is not tied to a public DNS like DuckDNS or like GoDaddy.com or whatever, you know, where you can get an actual domain name and then, you know, link it to this IP address, whatever IP address you have in here. DuckDNS does dynamic, and I think GoDaddy does static IP addresses. But either way, you could link those back to this server, and then you could reach the server anywhere in the world through your phone, any internet cafe that you're at, or your work, or whatever. But as far as to access this one that we're setting up now, you can do it on your own home network only. So you'd need to get a public DNS set up in order to get it to link to here, just so you know that. So anyhow, so we got it set up to the host name being Alex Cloud, and we got this 127.1.0.1.1 as our loopback address. So we have that, and that's what we want. So we're going to hit Control O to write it to make sure that, you know, and Control X to get out of it. So now that we have that done, you want to reboot. So we're going to go ahead, and you're going to type in the sudo /reboot command, which I didn't really want to, but oh well. And so we have rebooted. So now let's log in. Of course, we don't remember where we were, so now I gotta. What the heck is cares? So there's that, and then let's open up our Mate terminal. We go, and so now we've rebooted. So now our host name and our hosts are actually solidified and they're re-registered with the machine. You got your addresses, everything's up to date, so we're good to go. So now we have to go to download NextCloud. Now you could do this wget command, but it won't work because, well, we can try it and see if it works. Oh, it's actually working. Or you can go to the NextCloud website and download it in its archives, and we now have it. So now what we can do, we can just ls to make sure we have it. And there it is, right here, latest.zip, right here in red. And so that's the latest NextCloud one. That's the newest and greatest zip that they have out there of their NextCloud. So before we go ahead and do that, then what we're going to do, we're going to have to set up MariaDB and then Apache. So let's go ahead and set up the MariaDB. So to do MariaDB, you want to do sudo apt install MariaDB server. We're just going to copy and paste this here. Now, understand that, fair warning, as I wouldn't be a good content creator if I didn't tell you guys that just copying and pasting ad nauseum commands into terminal is not a good thing to do. Okay, I know these commands, and these are appropriate commands to do, but if you're not aware and you're not sure of them, please look up the commands, make sure that you're doing the right thing. Okay, because you can be pasting some harmful stuff in there. Some people like to play jokes on people and put, things that will actually nuke your system out there, and you can copy and paste it foolishly and you have problems. So yes, I'm doing a lot of copy and pasting before somebody gets on me and says anything about that, but I'm doing it as a new to Linux user would be. But I do know that these commands are appropriate, and I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have that faith in learnlinux.tv. It's a great site to learn stuff from. So anyhow, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. We're going to install the MariaDB server. So now we're going to give it our root password because it is at a root level that we're installing something. And when it's done, I'll resume the video. Okay, so MariaDB has finished installing. So now that we have it, let's go ahead and check the status of it to see if it actually installed, and also see if it's actually enabled. Okay. And running. So you're going to simply type in the systemctl status MariaDB, and you're going to get this readout. You see how it's got this green light here, and then it shows active right here. If it was not active, you hit, once you do this, also you got to hit Q to exit, right? Because it's going to put you in there. But anyhow, so if it was not active, all that you would have to do is you would have to you would do, if it wasn't enabled, you would, instead of status, you would type in enable MariaDB. Okay, that would be actually telling systemd to actually enable the database. And should it wasn't enabled, then you enabled it, but then you'd have to start it, and you would type in systemctl start. Type it correct. MariaDB, and then it will start the database server, and then after you're done doing that, then you would do status MariaDB, and then you would find yourself having what this output was, that it was already done. Mine was already enabled and started automatically by the install. But should yours not have done that, then you do exactly those other ones that I typed. Okay? So now we have that done. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to clear that so that it's not so cluttered. And then what we're going to do is we are actually going to secure the installation of MariaDB. by using the MySQL secure installation. And so it's going to give us a couple of prompts that we're going to want to follow. So we're going to hit this. We're going to type in sudo MySQL secure installation. Okay, and so it says in order to log into MariaDB secure, we'll need the current password for the root user. So here we're going to enter our root password. Okay, so now here is where it's asking us to switch to a Unix socket for authentication, but because we already have a root account and it's protected, we can answer no. So we're going to hit no for that. You're already a root account protected, so you can safely answer no for skipping that. So yep, we're going to hit no. And then, do you want to remove anonymous users? So basically, by default, MariaDB installation has an anonymous user and can allow anyone to log into that. So yeah, let's get rid of that. We don't want anybody to just be able to log into our database there. So then now it's going to disallow root login. Normally, root should only be allowed to connect from the local host. This ensures that someone cannot guess at the root password from the disk. So remove disallow root login remotely. Yes, we're definitely going to do that. And then, so that means that, like, say you're at a network cafe somewhere and you want to log in as root, you can't do it. You have to be at your local host here at this actual computer to log in. Remove test databases. Yes, we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to reload the privileged tables. Yes, we're going to do that. Tables. The reason why we're going to do that is what we're going to do is basically going to reload MariaDB with the new configurations that we've given it. And there we go. Now we're all done and we are out of it. So now we got to go in and actually create the NextCloud database. It's now a server, but it's blank. It has just a few of its own default servers that it puts in there, but not the one that we need. So let's go ahead and install our NextCloud into that server, but set up the NextCloud database server. So we're going to type in sudo MariaDB, pasting, and it's going to give us this, and you're going to see this command. Now, this lets you know that you are in MariaDB. Now, some of the commands that you use in MariaDB are capitalized, and they close with a semicolon. So it's important to know that syntax, okay? So here, we're going to create database. We're going to call it NextCloud. And so what you're going to type in is create database NextCloud, semicolon. You're going to hit enter. Okay. Query, okay. One row affected. So it created it. Now we're going to show the databases that are actually existing in MariaDB, and NextCloud should be listed in that, along with the other default ones. And here you have them. You've got the information schema. You've got MySQL, you have NextCloud right here, and performance schema and sys. Now, the only one we're worried about is NextCloud, and it's there. So we are good to go. Next, we're going to have to grant permissions and privileges to NextCloud. So what we are going to do is we are going to grant the permissions by typing in this following command. And you're going to change one command. Okay, so what you're doing in this statement is you're going to give all privileges on NextCloud to the user NextCloud at the localhost root only, identified by password. And this is where you're going to type in your password. Now, this password here is going to be one that you create for yourself. This is a secure one that only you know. But for me, I'm putting this one in. This is a test terminal. You know what I'm saying? So this isn't a secure thing or anything at all. So you guys can see what this password is. And once again, I reiterate, this entire verse machine and this test VM to set this up will be gone by the time this video drops. So don't worry about it. At any instance, we're going to do that. And then we're going to hit enter. And now we're done. Now we're going to flush privileges, which means that we're going to reload the privileges that we just gave it. And we're going to type in flush privileges command. Now we're done. So now, in order to get out of MariaDB, all you do is you hit Control D, and now you're out of the edit section of it. So now you're done. And that, guys, is how you install, secure, and create the NextCloud user on MariaDB server. Now, in a couple days, you'll see how to install Apache. And then in a couple days after that, you'll see how to install NextCloud, and it'll tie all up together. So stay tuned for the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and you guys keep on Linuxing. I'd like to take a moment to thank my Patreons, which are Brian Bomarito and Mysql Kresla. I always butcher his last name. But anyhow, thanks to those two. They help keep the lights on, the shop running, all that good stuff. Also, Mysql is a member of the channel as well. He supports me in both ways. And I greatly appreciate him, and I appreciate Brian as well. Thank you guys so much for what you guys do. It means the world to me. If you'd like to become a member, don't forget to join or go over to Patreon and join over there. And you'll get shout outs just like these two. Thanks so much. Bye.